Happy birthday, America! On this Independence Day, who among these gentlemen will stand independent above all others? It's short track racing at its best. Get ready to fight to the end in an action-packed battle for independence.
Green, go buddy, go. You're .25 behind the leader. Caution one, stay low. We're a little loose off two. All right, bring her in. Next time by, we'll go 4 and gas. Whoa, I think you got into me. Stand on it, buddy. Got 5 to go. You're the man. Great job.
Welcome to Kil-Kare Speedway in Xenia, Ohio for round 7 in the Northern Division of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup. It's the Naturally Fresh Foods 250 presented by the NGA Hooters Pro Golf Tour. I'm Brian Drebber along with the crew chief, Scott Sutherland. Brett McMillan doing the honors for us down on pit road. As the cars are getting set to go here and the fans are settling into their seats, things look pretty good right now, especially for Brian Ross, our pole sitter, with a lap at 13.6 and change. Let's go downstairs to Brett McMillan, who's with him.
This is the 4th straight race we've had a track record in qualifying, and the 2nd time that this guy did it. Brian Ross won here last year on the pole this time. Can he make it 2 in a row?
Yeah, this Speedco truck lube pointed drywall Ford's been running pretty good. You know, like to thank Advance Auto Parts for the $1,000 on the pole award, and it goes a long way when it comes to buying tires and stuff.
He's got the track position. He's got 1 win here already. Let's see if he can make it 2 in a row.
We'll be watching. And right now, the fans are getting set to go. There is a threat of weather in the area. Certainly things in the summertime in this part of the country, Scott Sutherland, are up for grabs.
Hot, humid, you never know what's going to be right around the corner, do you, Brian?
Well, if enough heat gets in the air, some moisture might come out of it. So let's get ready to fire them up.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
All right, girls, little nerves down there for them. As we take a look at all the drivers, there's Curtis Davis getting his engine fired up, and everybody giving us the thumbs up here. Danny Salmon's a 97 car getting set to go, and boy, now's when the butterflies start fluttering.
Well, absolutely. You're a little bit nerved up. You want to get this thing, the show on the road. It's been a long day already, and hey, if we can get into racing, everything can settle down.
Brian Ross giving us the thumbs up there. He'll start from the pole, and he's very, very confident of his ability. As are most of these drivers, especially the ones up front, the guys with a good setup under their race cars. You know, they qualify race ready, so maybe some of them have set up for racing, and we'll see their cars come to them a little bit better than where they start. Speed Channel rules. Yeah, we tend to agree with you on that one.
And you're right. It's a big advantage for a lot of these teams to come in having race setup, because that's how they qualify the cars, rather than have a qualifying set and then have to change to a race setup. It's much easier for the crew chiefs and the drivers.
All right, the second couple of rows pulling out right there. The USAR officials on duty and motioning the cars out onto the racetrack. The 99 of John Curley there, the orange car, and one by one they head around the racetrack. They'll do a couple of laps before they get going. And what kind of we're looking at a brand new racing surface here, among other things, Scott.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job. And what you're going to see, this is a round circle. Has a little bit of a front straightaway where you actually get wide open, but you know what? You drive 3/4 throttle almost all the way around. Darrell Walter describes it as 17 turns. Hang on to your hat. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight with this new pavement. We got a new track record.
Well, we're not going to argue with Darrell, but let's take a look at our Jackaroo Sauce's starting grid. You already met Brian Ross, the pole sitter, alongside him, the great veteran Hal Goodson in the number 50 car, the Lynch Motorsports entry. On row number 2, it's Jason McClellan in the Arctic Clear Chevy Monte Carlo with rookie Joel Kaufman in the LA West Luxury Van Chevy. And on row number 3, it's going to be Jimmy Burns going in the Jackaroo Meat Sauce's car with Curtis Davis in the number 68 Quality Brake Centers Ford. Eric Corbett and Danny Salmons go side by side on row 4 in the Clean and Shine Ford and the Fred's Parts Center Taurus. Then it's Jay Fogelman in the number 4 Lucas Oil Products Ford, alongside Jeff Agnew, former champion in this series in the NGA Hooters Golf Tour car. John Curley, we mentioned him in the Surplus Brokers Chevy, and Roger Blackstock in the number 1. That's row number 6. We go back to row number 7. It's Derek Kelly. More on him a little bit later on. The Caddy's Waterfront Restaurant Chevy Monte Carlo. Pete Wormcastle goes in his Whitwer Racing Ford. And then John Gaunt from Ontario, Canada, the Centennial Chrysler Dodge. Another Dodge alongside him, Mike Stacy, rookie driver out of Springfield, Ohio, in the Fast Racing Engines Dodge. Robbie Thompson in the Sheer Metal Products Ford goes with Lonnie Rush in the A&G Coal Company Chevy. Then it's rookie Gerald Davis out of West Virginia in the Action Concrete Ford, and Johnny Maxson in the B&B Metal Finishing Chevy Monte Carlo. That's row number 10. Row number 11, Jeff Rourke, rookie, along with rookie Scott Baker out of Virginia and Ohio, respectively. Porter Payne Pontiac and Talmadge Asphalt Chevy. The great veteran Charlie Ford starts alongside rookie Don Fleming on row number 12. Charlie and his son Graphics, Dodge Intrepid, and the Muffler Brothers Xenia Chevy Monte Carlo for Don. Alan Bigelow from Winchester, Indiana, and Ray Peel in the C.R. Peel Construction Chevy Monte Carlo. Chris Limerick and Glenn Galt, that's row number 14. And then we go back to provisional starts by Kyle Shoemaker in the K2 Machinery. Joe Harrison Jr., the veteran, Dale Avancian, and Todd Peck complete our field here today. 32 cars will take the start at Kil-Kare Speedway. Freshly paved, should be fast here tonight, Scott.
I think it's going to be a fantastic race. Like I said, you have to drive it in a circle. You go all the way to the floor, come down the front straightaway, you roll out of the gas, go into turn one, and then pick it up to about 3/4 throttle. You maintain that all the way around the back stretch, a circle, if you will. This is going to be a great shot watching Jay Fogelman go around this racetrack, bounce around in that old head, and try to get the rhythm of the racetrack. So the key to this place.
And earlier watching Jeff Agnew from the doggy cam. We're on board with Jimmy Burns starting in 5th position as well. Let's go once again to Brett McMillan.
Talking to guys today, I heard the term weird, unique, strange, all talking about this track. I get the feeling it's one of those races that a lot of guys lost before they even strapped into the car because they're intimidated by this track because it is unusual. Meanwhile, they're also going to have an unusual pit road to deal with. It's going to have a big old turn in the middle of it, and it's going to be very, very tight. We'll keep that in mind when they make their pit stop tonight. Brian?
All right, thanks a lot, Brett. It's going to be a pretty interesting race. You know, fresh pavement means lots of grip, 17 turns. Depends on where you start counting, and yeah, this is going to be fun.
The biggest unknown is what kind of tire heat that the new pavement always creates. A lot of tire heat, and it's all on the right side tires. We're going to have to see what tire wear looks like after we get halfway through the first.
Michael McIntyre waves the green flag, and he looks like a pro up there, doesn't he? Man, good job from the outside of the front row there, or rather from the pole. Brian Ross of the 42 car getting a bit of a challenge, and quickly a gap opens up in the middle of the field. Ross is definitely getting a push there from his fellow front row starter right next to him, Fogelman, and we're on board with Jimmy Burns, who started 5th. Man, did he get a start.
Well, they want to get single file as quick as they can. This is not a place or a time to be trying to 2 wide this thing or even 3 wide. Just get it in single file, settle down, get your air pressures built up, and then we can go racing.
The 92 car on the inside is Burns. He's getting a challenge from that 50 of Hal Goodson. Goodson started outside the front row. Ross is already starting to skitter away a little bit here now while these two fight over second spot. Single file, not yet. Joel Kaufman, rookie driver in that bright yellow 44 car, the LAOS luxury van Chevy. He drops into 4th spot behind Goodson.
And I know, Brian, you haven't had an opportunity to watch as many of these North races as I have, but this young Kaufman, this young man has done a tremendous job all year long, and being a rookie has really adapted to these type of race cars in a big hurry.
Doing a great job out there with a good-looking car as well. Now everybody's starting to get in line just a little bit, and the line is forming behind Brian Ross. What a great car he's got, apparently. Talking about Kaufman, yes, he's put together some pretty good finishes, most recently 7th at Salem Speedway. Had a top 3 at Holland. So yeah, he's getting it done. And
whoa, no! Straighten
John
up.
Curley, look out! Oh, water barrels at the end of the straightaway there on the pit out road. And naturally, we're under caution. There is fluid on the racetrack.
My, oh my.
What a shot. Kyle Shoemaker, there he is. He got it started. That K2 machinery car is pretty well damaged. And I think Brett McMillan has a little bit more on this one as he's down there on pit road.
John Curley is in the pits, and they're working hard to get this car back out there. Boy, what a difference a year makes. He was the pole sitter here a year ago, and now he's got a banged-up race car that they're trying to tear away the sheet metal off the right front. But they got a lot of work to do to get this car back into action.
I would say a lot of work on both of those cars.
And that's very unfortunate. John Curley was a pole sitter last year. You're going to see here, Kyle Shoemaker gets a little bit loose, get the nose turned down, and John Curley had no place to go but straight into him.
Man, looked like a Joey Chitwood thrill ride there as he ramped it up on the left front fender of Shoemaker's car, then into the water barrels. Here's another look out.
Oh.
Man, what a shot. And now Brett McMillan's in the 27 pit.
You can see how badly Kyle Shoemaker is messed up. The whole left front of that car is just an absolute mess. The left front tire is off the rim. They're going to try to get that changed as they're jacking the car up. They got a lot of work to do if they hope to even get back out, if there's nothing more serious than what it appears to be right now, just cosmetic.
Well, when he got loose, he just had no place to go and run right over the left front corner, and that's it.
Yeah, well, he was just wiggling back and forth, and then John Curley ran over him, and work continues. We'll be back.
USAR Hooters Pro Cup Racing is brought to you by Hooters, the cure for the common restaurant. Jackaroo Sauces. Jackaroo is served in America's finest backyards. Miller Lite. Miller Lite is the official sponsor of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series. Lucas Oil Products. Lucas Oil Products is a leader in heavy-duty and high-performance lubricants.
Well, the crews on the 99 and the 27 have done everything they can, and they're going to need to do a little bit more if they're going to try to get those cars back in any kind of competitive shape. In any case, we're lined up for a restart here. Take another look at what happened. There's Curley's 99. The 27 is loose. You know the rest. Ouch.
That is not a good way to end your day.
No.
Which I think they'll get him back out, but he's just not going to be competitive. And John Curley had such a great run here last year, sitting on the pole, and he's from New Asheville, the New Asheville Speedway. So much like this.
All right, green flag on lap number 22. Brian Ross was out in front. The 92 of Jimmy Burns was right behind him. Things are much the same. Hal Goodson, winner of the last 2 races in a row, is sitting in 3rd position. Then it's rookie Kaufman and Curtis Davis. Here's the rest of the top 10 for our National Freshfield summary on lap number 22. Steadying down the nerves a little bit, trying to get back to the business of racing. It's a long one, 250 laps here tonight in Kil-Kare. Ross looks tough.
But I really like Jimmy Burns. I mean, this is the best I've seen him run all year, and he kind of has a rhythm for this racetrack. Their setup looks very good. Hey, I think he's doing a tremendous job there, Jimmy Burns. Hal Goodson, the blue race car. You don't know a lot about this, but hey, we got a little competition on the front. Get him going, let's go.
Well, we got a black flag situation here for the 94 car. USAR officials at black flag. Chris Limerick was passing on the left on the restart. So they brought him in, mowed him down on pit road, send him back out again. That's going to hurt him a lot for any track position he was trying to make up by jumping the gun there.
You have to pass on the outside when the green flag does come out. But going back to Hal Goodson, he was in a silver car earlier this year. They paint the car blue. They go into Winchester, win the race, go to Salem, win the race. His car's blue. Here he's on the outside pole, going for 3 in a row. Can he pull it off? Great race car.
I'll tell you, what is there a problem with a silver race car? I don't know. There's a couple of guys doing a pretty good job with silver cars out there. Now the 27 of Shoemaker's back on the racetrack. Has gone a lap down right now to the leader, and the leader Brian Ross put the 99. Oh, we got a caution flag again. Oh, and the 5 car of Robbie Thompson sitting backwards on the racetrack, and the 14 of Charlie Ford also involved. In any case, 28 laps into this one, we're under caution again, and Thompson's trying to get his car rolling. That Sheer Metal Products Ford is heavily damaged in the back.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened because I was watching the leaders come around. He got tangled up there and got himself turned around coming off turn 4. And looks like Charlie Ford got into him.
Yep, well, it's mostly sheet metal damage there, so perhaps they'll be able to get that done if he heads down pit road. Take a look at what happened. There's Thompson sideways, and don't see any contact. There's Charlie Ford, who gets into him late in the going. Another look at it. Charlie almost gets by, and the tail end of Thompson's car comes around to catch him.
And no place to go, trying to get turned down.
Brett McMillan down on pit road.
Second time in for Charlie Ford as they are now cutting away sheet metal on the right front of that car as he's got a lot of damage. They're going to try to get him back out there and try to get him back as far to the front as they can.
Well, those cordless sawzalls are really almost a necessary item in the toolbox right there, Chief.
And they don't want to have to use it, but I'll tell you, they want to get back out on the racetrack and get as many points as they can coming out here for tonight.
All right, we'll let them finish up their work. We'll take a break, come right back. The Naturally Fresh Foods 250 here at Kil-Kare, kind of lurching along on this great round speedway. Brett McMillan with more on this unusual track.
There's a good reason this track is unusually shaped, and it's kind of like the story of Darlington that's got the minnow pond beyond what is now turn 4. This track was originally built in 1951 as a quarter-mile dirt track. It lasted one race as a dirt track. They said it's too dusty, so they paved it. So in 1955, they decided to expand it to a half-mile, but there's a problem. There's a drag strip right beyond turns 3 and 4 here. That was also being built at the same time. They couldn't impinge upon the drag strip, so what happened? They shortened it up at that end, and you ended up with an unusual shape.
Well, the story with Darrell Waltrip in the 17 turns, as we go back to green, was he was flying over it, and as he looked down on the racetrack, thought, man, there's a whole lot of turns down there.
Very unusual racetrack to drive. To come from the high banks where we've been in the last 2 races to come to this round racetrack is very difficult.
All right, naturally fresh field summary shows you the top 10, and it's pretty much the same as it's been. Brian Ross, certainly the dominant car so far. Lonnie Rush in the number 83 A&G Coal Company Chevy down a lap, started on the inside. Here comes the 92 and the 50. Goodson pushing pretty hard on the back of that Jackaroo car.
Well, he sees Brian Ross getting away, and he really doesn't want to let him get too far out there. He wants to kind of keep pace with him and stay in touch, because they're going to be a lap traffic so fast here tonight that it's going to become a problem.
Just saw the 11 of rookie Scott Baker, the Talmadge Asphalt Chevy, go a lap down, and there he is moving pretty slowly around the bottom of the racetrack. Goodson has got a little bit lower line on the 92 car, and he wants second place pretty bad.
It's so hard to use your engine to get a good run, and you see out the back of Jeff Agnew's car, what a great shot this is. You see how loose these cars are. Actually, you have to keep it free to go around this racetrack.
Agnew started 10th, and he's working the wheel pretty good right now. You can see it almost constantly making corrections. Turning that car down to the left. The 57 car of Joe Harrison Jr. up on the outside, going a lap down as the lead lap cars are trying to shove through underneath. And Charlie Ford's damaged number 14 Sun Graphics Dodge also trying to stay out of the way.
3 wide just does not work at this place. You guys settle down just a little bit.
It's early, but it is awesome so far as the 44 car rookie Joel Kaufman stays right there in contention. The 71 of Ray Peel goes a lap down, so the leaders are really unwinding the field pretty quickly here.
The only thing I can say is Brian Ross is taking off right where he left last year when he won this race, but I'm telling you, it took him half the race to really figure out the rhythm. He about was a lap down, came back in, got tires, settled down, found a rhythm to this racetrack, and he's right back where he was a year ago.
Al Goodson in that blue number 50, using all the racetrack and a little bit more as Lynch Motorsports Dodge dipping a wheel down onto the grass as he looked for some room. Kaufman's pushing on him pretty hard right now. And the 92 car, Jimmy Burns, has managed to get out of the way of Goodson for the moment. He's up on a higher line.
And rookie Joel Kaufman has never seen this place, and he's doing a great job. Curtis Davis was the fastest car at our last race at Salem. He's also come to this flat track and doing very well. But this new pavement, it's really going to be something, how it wears on these tires. They really got to concentrate on do not overcook the right front tires.
Goodson still working down on the inside on Burns. And a brand new racetrack for everybody. Yes, the layout is somewhat the same. The basic shape of the track is the same, but the new pavement has made it wider in a couple of spots. So everybody's been looking for new lines. As Goodson goes by for second, can he make it stick?
But I think there's about 6 or 7 lines around this place, and you're watching that. Well, that's great side-by-side race. It didn't touch. I just love it. This is a great deal.
Scott Baker in the 11 car, going in front of his battle for second. Kaufman down on the inside. And a 4th place is at issue right now. Side by side they go. The 68 car of Curtis Davis at Quality Brake Center's Ford has come to the front after starting in 6th position. He's racing for 4th. He's got it.
And you can just kind of keep your momentum up when you're on that outside. You just use a little bit more of the racetrack. It's a little bit wider, like you said, and you can kind of keep it up. Joel Kaufman there in field.
First look at our full field rundown here, our Sunoco full field rundown. Fogelman, Agnew, you saw them. Gaunt running in 11th position. McClellan rookie Wormcastle there. A couple of rookies, Thompson and Rourke, back in 19th and 20th positions. You'll see where everybody's running. Charlie Ford down 2 laps after his incident. And the 27 of Shoemaker being shown in 27th spot. That'll be easy to keep track of for a while. And it and the 99 are both back out there. And we've already had mechanical issues and another big spin on the racetrack. Smoke everywhere in the 1 car. Couldn't see where he was going. Just nudged in to that number 5 car that was sideways on the racetrack. Robbie Thompson out of Ontario, Canada, involved in another incident. Glenn Galt got checked up, but the one car of Roger Blackstock didn't quite get stopped in time. So we woe him down again. Take another look. There's the 5. This time he's going to get some help. So the 3 gets inside. Jason McClellan taps him in the door. Round goes the 5. The 25 gets by. And here comes the one car that couldn't get stopped in time. Let's go down to Brett McMillan with a little bit more on damage repair.
The long day/night continues for Roger Blackstock, a guy who had such high hopes coming in here, but boy, oh boy, it has been just a nightmare that's turned into a daymare, I guess.
Blackstock started in 12th position and did not start the race at Salem, finished 5th at Winchester, so the crowd has definitely got their money's worth already here, and they're trying to sort them all out.
And Roger Blackstock, this is one of his type of race. I run very good last year. We'll see where he can get going again when we come back.
Another incident at Kil-Kare brings us to a halt.
Happy birthday, America. You're watching Hooters USAR Pro Cup Racing.
Thank you, girls. Lights are on the pace truck for the Naturally Fresh Foods 250 presented by the NGA Hooters Golf Tour, which is also carried on the number 73 car of Jeff Agnew. Here he comes, creeping around behind the 4 of Jay Fogelman. Get ready to go racing once again. Lap cars down on the inside, lead lap cars on the outside, and there are the 83 of Lonnie Rush and the 11 of Scott Baker next to the leader, 42. Brian Ross, the Speedco Truck Loops Ford Taurus, doing a great job here. A little puff of blue smoke out of the exhaust, but we've seen that before.
Yeah, not to be excited. That's a little bit coming through the exhaust valves a little bit. They don't put the seals on, but hey, we've seen that all year. Brian Ross has been fast all year.
Yeah, loose is fast. Running the engine loose, maybe that's fast as well. Get ready to go back to the green flag here as some of the fans heading for their seats, look over their shoulders. We're racing on lap number 56.
And Brian Ross got a great jump. He wants to get out away from those lap cars. He wants to get in clean air and relax.
Al Goodson gets over the number 83 at Rush to out in hot pursuit, our Naturally Fresh Field summary, Gerald Davis running in 10th position. He finished 5th at Salem Speedway, top rookie. Brian Ross, car looks fast too.
Yeah, and this new surface makes it so wide and so easy to drive. If you get into that rhythm, you can find that zone and just make your car go around the racetrack. And you know what? There's going to be a couple different lines with this new pavement, and we're going to learn that as we go along tonight. Your car's going to adjust a little bit. You'll be able to, some guys are going to be low, some guys are going to be a little bit higher. I think we're going to have great two-wide racing though.
On board with Jay Fogelman, a Lucas Oil number 4, running in 6th position. Right behind him is Jeff Agnew in the number 73, and there are Mr. Fogelman and Mr. Agnew on the racetrack, going inside lap number 11 of Scott Baker.
Fogelman and Agnew. How many times have we said that throughout the history of Hooters Pro Cup racing?
Almost hold on, we're here. Tires squeal, and we're seeing the 99 go rolling around again. John Curley gets going, but the 65 of Johnny Mackison, also involved, is still sitting there. That's the car that was heavily damaged in the incident with the water barrels up there in turn number 1. Now Mackison gets going again, too.
Curley's had an eventful night, I would say.
Absolutely. He's involved Mackison with him now. Not quite sure what happened on this, but we'll take a look on our Coca-Cola replay as Mackison heads down pit road. You're on board with Jeff Agnew. Look behind him, and a nudge. Looked like the 99 got into the car in front of him, and then Mackison got collected. There's your leader, Brian Ross, leading this race from the beginning. And earlier we spoke with him about Kil-Kare Speedway, about driving this racetrack, and he is certainly a man who ought to know.
This place is just about perfectly round. You know, there's a little bit of a short shoot in the front stretch, and you can kind of get on the gas a little bit in the middle and the back. But other than that, it's pretty much round, and you just got to hit your marks every lap, and you know, stay in that one groove, because if you get up a little bit, it's real slick.
He said something very important. You got to hit your marks.
We'll be right back to Kil-Kare. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Kil-Kare, Xenia, Ohio, under caution once again here on the racetrack. A few cars have ducked down pit road. The 94 of Chris Limerick coming back up in there. Brett McMillan has caught up with a man we're used to seeing behind the wheel.
Clay Rogers is hanging out here. It's a long way from home for you. What are you doing?
Well, we came up just to help Danny Simmons and Bill Boger out a little bit. They're a little short-handed. Had some people that couldn't make it this weekend, and so me and my guy Brad Fritz jumped in the truck last night and drove up here, and man, this is a different place. I tell you what, it's a whole different animal from anything I've ever seen. But he's hanging in there a little bit tight right now, and we fought tight the whole practice. We're going to work on trying to get his car freed up on our pit stop there, and come out of here with a decent finish. He doesn't have a lot of lap time here, and there's a lot of veterans out here that are from this area that raced here a good bit in front of him. So we'll see what we can do.
How tough is it for a driver to stand on the sidelines and watch?
This is the first Hooters Pro Cup race I've ever watched from the infield, other than one I fell out of. It's kind of hard, but hey, they helped me out a lot, and Bill Boger drives all over the country for me, so I got to do the same for him.
A driver that can actually work on a race car. Isn't that something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Clay Rogers is pretty much a do-it-all sort of fellow. We see him get his hands dirty a lot. One from the pole at Concord in the Southern Division where he normally races. We're back to green here at Kil-Kare in the Northern Division. And Brian Ross once again shooting out there in the front with Hal Goodson right on his heels. And actually, Fresh Field Summary shows you where everybody's running. Danny Salmons in 10th position. He's been as high as 9th there at 50 laps into the race. Ross, boy, does he ever get a start, and does he ever roll away from the field?
And he's setting a very aggressive pace, and I'm wondering, will that take its toll on his right front tire? The right side tire temperature's got to be a little bit higher now with this new pavement, so it's really got to work those tires hard. And I don't know how it's going to, where the wear factor's going to come in later on in the race.
Hal Goodson with 2 wins. The most recent 2 races up here in the Northern Division are to his credit. And the really big unknown, not so much as where they're going to run on the racetrack, because they've done enough of that in practice and qualifying, but long runs, which we haven't seen a lot of yet. How is that going to affect tire wear and through the course of the entire race, the duration of tire wear? These are really the big unknowns on this racetrack right now.
Brian, what happens is if your car's a little bit tight or a little bit pushy, it really works the right front. If your car's a little bit loose,
oh, speaking of loose, we've got a major incident on the racetrack now as the 01 car of Pete Wormcastle showing some heavy rear end damage there. Just caught the tail end of that one, the Whitmer Racing Ford, and the 81 of Mike Stacy, his Fast Racing Engines entry out of Springfield, Ohio, and a little fire down there. That's a very little fire, and as wet as it's been up here, chances are it won't get much bigger. The tail end of the wreck there, you can see the 2 cars primarily involved, and everybody else gets around pretty well okay. Another look shows, again, kind of the tail end of it, a few guys ducking down in the grass, and that's where the little fire was going on. So, another incident here brings out yet another caution flag. The 75 car of Eric Corbett started in 7th position, and Brett McMillan's got a little bit more about that car and its driver.
Eric Corbett obviously still out on the track. His dad went over to the wall, took a good look at the car, said everything looks pretty good at this point in time. Eric says nothing more than just a ride through the grass. He's still on track to hopefully give his wife a 1-day late birthday present of a trip to Victory Lane.
Well, Eric Corbett's been there once before at Mansfield. He was the winner. His most recent finish was 4th. We'll be back in a moment. Round 7 of the Northern Division, the Naturally Fresh Foods 250, presented by the NGA Hooters Pro Golf Tour at Kil-Kare Speedway in Xenia, Ohio. And the cars are rolling once again. There's the 14 of Charlie Ford, sustained some damage in one of the earlier incidents. He's alongside race leader Brian Ross, who is just ahead of Hal Goodson, and that's kind of the way things are in the short version as we get set to go back to the green flag here in Kil-Kare. The 68 car of Curtis Davis moving up there in the field, sitting in 4th spot right behind the Jackaroo car, number 92 of Jimmy Burns, that we've seen a lot of. But here we go racing again on lap number 76.
Charlie Ford, that group, they really fought hard to get back up into that position. They would love to get one of their laps back just to get back into this thing.
There you can see our Naturally Fresh Field Summary. Fogelman and Agnew still 6th and 7th. Your leader is Brian Ross, and Hal Goodson a much better job of staying close to Ross on this restart. On board with Jay. Going around one of the lap cars, almost. 3 wide. See 2 cars down on the inside. Oh, that's exciting.
Not what you want to see when you're the one on the outside.
I'm telling you, anything goes wrong down with one or the other of those 2 cars, and you're in the wall. Brian Ross, indeed, has led every lap of this race. Started from the pole and has been unchallenged so far.
And, that picks up right up the idea from last year. You win the race, come back in here, and you find a way around. What a great shot this is. You see those cars jostling for position. There's so many different lines around this racetrack.
Watching Jeff Agnew looking pretty calm behind the wheel there. Not a lot of steering corrections, but he's pretty much in left rudder all the way around. Now the 68 Curtis Davis kind of banging on the back door there. Jimmy Burns' Jackaroo car.
And I think Jimmy Burns had a great race. This is one of the best races I've seen all year. Curtis Davis, like we said, coming from the high bank, coming into these flat tracks. They found the setup. All these guys have adapted to this racetrack so well.
Jimmy Burns' best finish 9th at Winchester. His best start 10th at Mansfield. Oh, little contact, and they back into the wall together. Well, we saw a good race coming, but we didn't see a wreck happening until just right then. So Curtis Davis in the number 68 quality brake car and Jimmy Burns in the Jackaroo 92 bring out another caution here at Kil-Kare. Brian Ross, every time he gets a little bit of a lead, they slow him down again.
Well, we talked earlier about getting into a long green, and what are these tires going to do? Well, we haven't been able to find out yet.
Not yet. We have not seen one single long run here. And Curtis Davis, who was runner-up in the most recent race at Salem, has 3 top 5 finishes. It's going to be a pretty tough night for him. You can see a little bit of attrition down there in the infield. A few cars parked with the hood up, some that didn't make the race. And here's your Coca-Cola replay. Take another look. It's up just 2 cars going for the same spot.
Well, he was just trying to ease his way in there, and I don't think they told Jimmy Burns he was quite had that inside position yet. Spotters are so critical.
Jimmy Burns trying to turn down on his line, turns into Curtis Davis, who had come up inside of him. And yeah, indeed, perhaps the drivers didn't get quite enough warning about that. So bang, into the wall they go. Dark and very ominous looking clouds have moved into the area right now, but let's go to Brett McMillan.
Michael, you guys spun running real well. What happened?
The Jackaroo barbecue sauce is extremely fast tonight. Jimmy's doing an incredible job. Just looked like Curtis got in there a little bit hard. Just a race deal got into us. It's really unfortunate. These guys have worked so hard. Jimmy's doing an incredible job out there tonight, and I think we can come back up through. Hope it doesn't rain here because we're in a bad position right now, but we got a good car. We'll be back up there.
All right, hadn't brought him in at all, so you feel pretty good about it.
Nah, it just cosmetic, it looks like. Didn't hurt the left rear or anything, so we're going to be all right. We'll come back up through.
Jimmy Burns, currently 12th in points, has been as high as 9th, and he's got a run of top 15 finishes. And yes, he has been doing an incredible job, but the USAR officials have now stopped this race, and quite frankly, we're a little bit concerned because there's definitely thunderstorms and lightning in the area. So there's a very good chance that we're going to have to kind of step away for a little bit here. As you can see, this does not look good.
Well, when this lightning flashes, you got to do something, get these people out of the grandstands because it's just not in a good situation.
Well, a lot of the guys are covering up the toolboxes and the pit bulls. Now they're covering up the race cars. And indeed, with lightning in the area, some of those tall light poles are giant lightning rods. Our camera guys are coming down from their position. We're just going to wait and see what happens. Welcome back to Kil-Kare. Rain is falling, and in fact, through the magic of television, you might say, it is now a couple of hours later. We've been trying to get this race underway, but it doesn't look good. Brett McMillan's with Jimmy Burns.
Head down to the hauler with Jimmy Burns. We got a lot of rain going on. And first of all, let's find out what happened out there. You had a great run going, and then the two of you guys go spinning.
Yeah, we did have a real good run going here in the Jackaroo car. Not really sure what happened. I thought we gave him room, but I think he might have gotten a little loose underneath of us and kind of just used us as a cushion, and we both went spinning. But luckily, the car's not that bad. Depending on what we do here with the rain and the rest of the race, we have a couple different strategies, so we should be able to use this to our advantage and get the Jackaroo car back up front. It's pretty neat running up in second place and actually seeing the leader. We're having a lot of fun, and we're just hanging out here with the crew, just having fun, waiting to get back racing.
Now, first of all, we know with all the rain we've had, the track's probably going to have the rubber washed off of it. Second of all, we may go to daytime. What happens if we go to daytime?
Well, I'm not too worried about that because we rolled off the truck and we were pretty good. We were out there the first practice session, so hopefully that's about the way it's going to be either tomorrow or yet tonight. But we'll see. We're just ready to get back out there and got to keep our fenders clean now and get back up to the front. But the Jackaroo car is running great, and we're just going to enjoy some naturally fresh mountain spring water here and some Jackaroo sauce and wait it out and see what we can do.
Well, I tell you what, even in the rain, this guy gets all his sponsors in.
All right. Well, we heard Jimmy say maybe tomorrow, and that's a very distinct possibility. As we wait out the rain here, Brett McMillan working the infield is now caught up with Curtis Davis.
Well, we got Curtis hanging out here, and you had yourself a little mess there right at the end, but not too much damage, doesn't look like.
Yeah, not a whole lot of damage. You know, the 92 car, Jimmy Burns, slipped up a little bit coming off of 4, and I got in a position. I got all the way up to his door, and he started coming down on me a little bit, getting there into 1, and we both spun out. You know, he said he was sorry, you know, and I accept apologize from him, but no need to be running that hard and like he was there with me, but we'll take what we can get, and of course, looks like this thing's going to be rained out tonight. Racetrack's going to be real green, and the wheel's a little bit tight, so hopefully our car's going to be even better tomorrow.
Well, let's talk more about that. What do you anticipate? I mean, is that how you go in tomorrow and say, hey, look, this is what we're going to have to do right off the bat?
Well, in a way, yeah. You know, it's obviously as much rain as we have had today, right now at this point, that the racetrack is going to be real green. It's going to wash every bit of the rubber off the track. So guys that are a little tight, you know, probably won't do as much adjustments to their car as the guys that are loose right now. But obviously, you know, we got in that little wreck there at the end. We're going to come in and pit as soon as we go back green tomorrow, if it's tomorrow or tonight, whatever.
All right, there you go. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out.
Well, Scott, they seem to be a little bit more sure about tomorrow than tonight.
Not a lot of optimism in that voice, was there?
No, well, not a lot of optimism looking up at the sky. Back to Brett McMillan with the leader.
We already got Brian Ross in his casual outfit with the Flying Brian Ross T-shirt on. Well, you know what? Tonight that fits. How did it feel being out front with a lot of clean track in front of you?
Yeah, we was running in some lap cars there, you know, on them longer, well, few long runs we got, but the car's been pretty awesome tonight. Set it on the pole today, and we thought it might get loose on us, but it's just been on rail.
Okay, you won the nighttime portion of the race. What happens if the rest of it's in the day? Is it going to change things?
It might a little bit, you know, but that Speedco pointer drywall Ford's been fast all weekend here, and it was fast when we tested, and I think we'll be in good shape even if we got to run tomorrow during the sun, in the sun.
All right, he was impossible to beat tonight. We'll see how it plays out if we have to go to tomorrow.
Maybe he knows something we don't about sun tomorrow. At least it's starting to look like we'll be racing in the daytime. Whether it's sunny or not, we do not know. Back once again to Brett McMillan.
The guys, they just made the official announcement the race has been postponed until tomorrow morning. So the challenge for these guys who got ready and got used to running at night is to come in here tomorrow morning on a green racetrack and then try to be competitive and see if the adjustments are very similar. Remember, most of these guys have not pitted yet, so we may see some interesting pit strategy when we come back here.
Well, I like his outtake on that bit, but it's going to definitely change the strategy of how we do that. The complexity of this race has just changed. It's going to be a green racetrack. They did set up their cars, but you're going to see a lot of tire temperatures tomorrow when we come back in the sunlight.
Well, we're glad we could get one camera working long enough to bring you the news. We'll be back in a moment, at least on TV. Welcome back to Kil-Kare Speedway in Xenia, Ohio for the Hooters Pro Cup Northern Division Round 7. It is indeed tomorrow. I'm Brian Drebber and Scott Sutherland. We've been hanging out. Brett McMillan doing a great job for us with the transition from a rainy evening to a threatening weather daytime conclusion to the Naturally Fresh Foods 250. Scott?
Well, yeah, we were looking for sunshine this morning instead of this cloud cover, and we really don't know if we're going to get this in yet. It's going to be tough. Still got a chance of rain.
Well, they're circling the track, trying to dry it out. Let's go to Brett McMillan for more.
All right, what they've been able to do with the cars since last night, Brian, is very little. They've been able to do the clean-out type stuff, you know, make sure that there's no water in the system, things like that. They have not been able to put a wrench on this. This has been treated as a red flag condition where they have not been able to wrench the car at all. If they do that, it's a 2-lap penalty. They have also decided to throw a competition yellow between laps 140 and 150 because some of these guys lost parts of their crews. Well, we got Darren Odell standing here, and he's the crew chief for the leader. Darren, as you get ready for this race today, how has that competition yellow changed your strategy?
It changed it quite a bit. I'm happy with it. We're out front. We're a little short-handed today ourselves, so I think it'll play into our hands okay. I like to ran this race last night. We were set up for a night run. You know, you give Brian something with 4 wheels on it, he can drive it. So, you know, he's a great driver, and he's doing a great job in that old car. It's a good car, but, you know, we just didn't know what it needed at Salem, so I think we found what it wanted. But, like I say, we had it set up for a night run, so I don't know how it's going to run today. I want to see us finish it last night.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Most of these guys say they're going to wait for that competition yellow before they pit because there is more rain on the way.
And rain on the way is a big factor. We have to get to halfway. That way it can be a complete race, and then we can go figure out the second half of the race.
Well, the competition yellow is a ways away, but for sure some guys are going to be stopping right now, right, Brett?
Jimmy Burns just turned out to be the exception to the rules. They're going to come in, they're going to put left sides on this time, and they talked about coming around the next time and putting on right sides and another stop. These guys have decided to go ahead because they're at the end of the lead lap, to give up what little track position they are, to go out, make a stop, and get this car fixed up.
These guys better hurry. We're going to get caught a lap down here.
Oh, they're going to get stopped. They didn't make it out quickly enough. They're going to go a lap down, so what might have been a pretty good idea is now turned into one that's not so good.
What happens is there's just so many cars out on the racetrack trying to warm their tires up. They're giving a lot of room between them and the guy in front of them. They're almost all the way around the racetrack, and they just didn't make it back out in time.
So Jimmy Burns goes a lap down after the incident with Curtis Davis. Your leader is still Brian Ross. No problems for him. The top half dozen cars or more have been pretty much error-free so far, Scott. They've stayed out of trouble. And in the meantime, however, Jimmy Burns comes down pit road. They get only left side tires on. They can't get out in time, and he goes a lap down.
Yeah, I think that was going to be a great call as long as they get him back out in the field, because now all they had to do was they were going to try to come back and get their right sides before they went back to green, which was a fantastic call. But this is a tough place to get in and off pit road without going a lap down.
Well, they went back to green pretty quickly, and indeed, they didn't quite make it out in time, so they're going to lose positions as we get set to go back to the green flag here. Lap 95. Brian Ross has been your leader since lap 1. Our Sunoco full field rundown is going to show you where everybody's running. Fogelman's up to the top 5. Davis in 6th position, and points leader Eric Corbett in 10th. And we back through the rest of the field. Curtis Davis in 14th. Rourke, that is Jeff Rourke, rookie driver in the number 80 Porter Paint Cars, in 15th position. Burns comes back out a lap down in 16th. There you can see the rest of them running. Some attrition has taken its toll here. Joe Harrison Jr. involved in an accident, the 31 of Fleming, and that is Don Fleming and his muffler brother Xenia car. He's the local favorite, right here in Xenia, Ohio. Dale Avansian went out 11 laps into the race in his ASPCA car. Todd Beck also out early in this time.
And there goes Jeff Agnew, got the move underneath Jay Fogelman.
Yes,
that was a great move.
Jeff Agnew really putting the hammer down in that 73 MGA Hooters Pro Golf Tour car. Fogelman down on the low line now, and you can see the damage number 99 of John Curley riding up high, and he's in the revolving door as the lead lap cars go past him.
And Charlie Ford, who's a lap down, is right behind him, but his car is very fast. Just cannot get back on that lead lap.
On board with Jeff Agnew, who just put the great move on Fogelman. You can see right behind him that Lucas on the front of the 4 car.
And you folks at home, when you watch that in-car camera, you can see how many times he'll actually bend that steering wheel going around the racetrack. It's a 17-turn racetrack, as Darrell Walden would say. It is a constant circle and very difficult to drive.
The wire there, the tie wrap that's holding that wire on, just kind of standing right straight out as it's a constant G-force left to right on these drivers and everything in the cockpit. And we see Jay Fogelman, we see the drink tubes kind of floating around inside the cockpit for him.
These guys have to have a headrest. If you do not have a headrest, your helmet is going to feel like it's a 25-pound weight after 10 laps.
Glimpse of the silver car of Darren Kelly, number 21, Caddy's Waterfront Chevy Monte Carlo. What a story for him. He makes the decision within 24 hours of this race to try to haul up here and get in the show. He had to make a couple of stops for parts. He drives up here, he gets in the race, and there he is.
And folks, he's from Florida. He's not from just down the street now. Jason McClellan, this guy qualified 3rd. His car is very loose right now. I really expected Jason McClellan to kind of adapt to this racetrack, have a great race. His car really not to his liking.
McClellan running 11th on the restart. And there's the 25 car of John Gaunt out of Ontario, Canada. That's Centennial Chrysler Dodge. Back up to your leader, Brian Ross, in the naturally fresh field. Summary Kaufman running in 3rd position. We've already talked about what a great season Joel Kaufman's had. Oh, that's getting close. There's the 3 car you mentioned. Jason McClellan started 3rd.
Yeah, him and John Gaunt are trading paint just a little bit. One thing that impresses me here is we run a lot of laps green already this morning, where last night we couldn't get 15 laps to go.
Jeff Agnew, and there's a car up against the wall as they come by, and we're going to have another yellow flag flying here as the yellow 27 of Kyle Shoemaker. We've seen a lot of him earlier in the race, involved in one of the very first incidents. In that K2 machinery Ford, he gets it going again. Front end damage already obvious. And we're slowed down at Kil-Kare one more time. Take a look at our Coca-Cola replay. Look for that yellow 27 all by himself at the tail of the field back there.
Just high on the racetrack, tried to turn it down. A car just got loose, got off from underneath him.
Well, we're under caution again here at Kil-Kare, and yes, we'll be back in a moment. Take it away, girls.
Stay tuned for more Hooters Pro Cup action right here on Speed.
Caution again, still waving here at Kil-Kare Speedway for the Naturally Fresh Foods 250, presented by the NGA Hooters Pro Golf Tour. We saw Jeff Agnew in the Hooters Golf Tour car make a great move. There's Hal Goodson, the number 50 car, has been running second since we can remember as we get ready to go back to green, and we do. Brian Ross is still your leader. Agnew's up to third, Joel Kaufman fourth, and the 88 car of Gerald Davis is fifth. Hal Goodson running in second position, trying to go for 3 in a row. We asked him what it would take to win here.
Got to get around this track the same every lap. You know, it's a tough little track. You know, trying to get a lap around here and be consistent is the main thing. And, you know, we're pretty fast in practice, so we'll see how qualifying shakes out, and you know, try to run around here at 250 and give us another one.
Hal Goodson started off the season with a 6th place finish. Then he had a run of bad luck, finishing 31st, 26th, and 28th in the next 3 races before he went on his 2-in-a-row tear in Winchester and Salem to set up 3 in a row here tonight, maybe.
Well, right now, Hal Goodson's biggest problem is the 73 car. He has really set sail here since the sun came back. Well, in the daylight, that 73 car is fast.
Very fast indeed. Not as fast as Brian Ross. He's still out in front and unchallenged, but if anybody's heading his way, it's certainly Jeff Agnew. He's got a nose ahead on Hal Goodson, and this is the furthest up through the running order that Agnew has been. As you're on board, looking at him behind the driver's net there, and he takes over the number 2 spot from Hal Goodson. Whoa! We got
right
a problem
in front of the leader.
right in front of the leader, Roger Blackstock, and Joe Harrison Jr. in the 57. Blackstock gets going. Harrison's still sitting there, and we're going to have another caution flag here at Kil-Kare. A lot of damage to the front here. Take another look on the replay. Scott?
Man, I don't know. You know, there's just a little bit of contact in the middle. Of what a mess. How did all these cars get around? There's a... Oh my goodness.
They scattered in every direction. It looked like Joe Harrison Jr. went around in the middle of the field. There's the number 88 car of Gerald Davis, who was the subject of our Tucson Star of the Week feature.
Oh, my dad raced 30 years ago when I was born. He's the one that got me started into racing, and he always raced dirt, so I raced dirt for 11 years after he quit, and then we decided to get in asphalt racing. We're just doing our best now, just trying to finish all the races and trying to do our best to try to finish the top 5. Just run all year, just get some experience and respect, and just do our best. I'm a crew chief of my dad.
Well, I used to drive myself on dirt, you know, and yeah, I get as much enjoyment out of that as I did when I was driving because it's hands-on, and I know it's my son, you know.
I learned a lot by watching him, how to control cars and stuff like that.
I couldn't be prouder. He does a whale of a job, you know. He adapts to strange tracks a lot better than I did when I was driving on dirt. I don't know, he's got that knack to adapt to strange tracks.
It keeps you going, makes you feel better. It just makes everything go well when your whole family's involved.
I don't know what we do when racing. I don't know.
Mostly hunting, but racing's my dream, and that's what I want to do. So that's probably about my best hobby, I think.
His dad said that he adapted to racetracks very well. Well, he started 19th. He's all the way to 6th, so I think that's very good.
Absolutely. 19th in points currently. There's your leader, Brian Ross, and he will become our Lucas Oil halfway leader. Kind of with a whimper, not a bang, but in any case, we've come to lap number 125, and he has led every single lap of this race. Race control's been pretty busy here since yesterday. We'll be back in a moment. Well, the Hooters girls have been working overtime here at Kil-Kare, greeting and meeting the fans as they came in and handing out copies of the Hooters news and autographing them and doing the things that Hooters girls do at a Hooters Pro Cup race. Right, Scott?
Absolutely.
Here we go racing again on lap number 132. Brian Ross pulls away pretty quickly, this time from Jeff Agnew, who took over the number 2 position from Hal Goodson. Goodson now looking down low, but there's nowhere for him to race. There's a lap car just in front of him. And there's your naturally fresh field summary. Danny Salmon's up to 8th position. Clay Rogers working on the sidelines with him. And a glimpse of Derek Kelly's 21 car whipping past the wall. The 3 of Jason McClellan going pretty slowly around the racetrack, unlike Brian Ross. McClellan's got a problem.
He's trying to lift back in, get into the pit area. You see so much oil dry around the racetrack. These guys are a little bit more tentative as to how they drive the car off into the car.
Well, those front couple of cars are awful fast. Lou's coming up off turn 15 there.
Yeah, exactly. Look, before we got that caution, the 73 car on my stopwatch was the fastest race car on the racetrack. Can he pick up right where he left off? I don't know, but I think he has something for Brian Ross.
Well, Ross is so quick on the restarts and, of course, has a clear track in front of it without any lap cars alongside, whereas Agnew, Goodson, Fogelman, the others have to get around those lap cars down on the inside line. So, yes, if Jeff Agnew is the fastest car on the track, he's still got to run down leader Brian Ross, who's out there. Joel Kaufman currently running in 5th position. He's been there for a while. Jason McClellan comes into the pits, and naturally Brett McMillan is there. Brett.
Problems for Jason McClellan. He dropped back on the start last night, but then made a great run up to the pack. Now he's having problems with the shifter. Crew's up under there trying to get it fixed up. Tough break for a guy that had an outstanding run going.
Another outstanding run. Derek Kelly's moving up through the field in that number 21 car. He's probably shaking off the lack of sleep at this point.
Well, I would say for Derek Kelly, the best thing that happened was when they stopped the race last night. He finally went to the motel and probably collapsed.
That's right.
What a long weekend he has had.
Drove straight up here from Florida, made the decision, as we said, within 24 hours of the start of the race to come on up here and jump in with both feet, and that's certainly what he's done. Watching the 97 car, and that is Danny Salmons, the Friends Parts Center Ford Taurus. And Clay Rogers helping on the crew with his crew chief, Bill Boger, who does double duty north and south. 68 right alongside Curtis Davis.
Whoa, right in front of him.
Whoa! The 94 car going around Chris Limerick in the Depews Plumbing Chevy. And boy, that developed kind of slowly, and it wasn't far in front of the leaders.
Ooh.
Take another look here as it looks like Salmon's getting into the back of him, helped him around, shall we say, then clipped him on the way by. And very quickly down on the inside, Glenn Galt, the number 32 car, chose the low line, and that was a wise move. Take another look.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of contact. Danny Salmon's trying to take a little of the air off him, and just a little bit too much contact.
I think there was very little air in between Danny Salmon's car and the 94 of Limerick. In any case, we're under caution, and this is also going to be our competition yellow. So everyone who decides to make a pit stop right now has probably gotten a little benefit.
Well, they've been given the go to make the changes they want to make. Now you got your first place runner, Brian Ross, is in. They're going to do a 4-tire change for him, but outside of that, they love the way this car feels right now. No more changes planned for Brian Ross, as he has led every single lap of this race so far. Been a very dominant performance. The pit stall right behind him, we got Hal Goodson. They are making a wedge adjustment. They are also have put a spring rubber in the right rear. They're doing some work up on the right front as well, as they're trying to get this car feeling just a little bit better, as he wants to get that one more spot, looking for win number 3 in a row.
Well, Scott, they have a much more leisurely pace for this competition yellow pit stop. Let's go back to Brett McMillan with Jeff Agnew, I believe.
Jeff Agnew, so far solid run for you. What can you do to get to the front?
The NGA Hooters Pro Golf Car Tours. It's running really good. We've worked our way up to second there. And I think we might have a little something for Brian. We'll just have to see what happens after the break. But wouldn't have give you a nickel for the car in practice yesterday. So guys have done a great job and worked really hard, and it's got us in contention.
Well, that takes us to our Lucas Oil race recap. For those of you just joining us, it's been a little bit of an ordeal. The race began in the evening with rain threatening in the area. Brian Ross started from the pole and showed us how quickly he could start every time they waved the green flag. On lap number 7, the first incident involving the 27 of Kyle Shoemaker. Ramped up off of him was John Curley into the water barrels. Splash. That brought out a caution. On lap number 28, the 5-car of Robbie Thompson. Around he goes. Where he stops, nobody knows. But it was right in the middle of the front stretch. On lap number 60, 99 car again. John Curley having a rough day. Also involved with the 65 there of Johnny Mackison. they were able to continue. And then on lap number 82, we had some new players in the Wreck Fest here. The 92 of Jimmy Burns and the 68 Curtis Davis racing for the same spot on the track. Round they win in a little pirouette. Lap number 86, that was when the weather, Mother Nature, decided to bring a halt to the proceedings for the evening. And then on lap number 95, it was the next day. And in the daylight at Kil-Kare, we went racing once again behind Brian Ross, behind Hal Goodson. And on lap number 116, 57 car of Joe Harrison Jr. round he goes. And almost miraculously, no one really collected him. That brought us to lap number 142 and the most recent caution involving the 94 car of Chris Limerick. Got a little help from Danny Sammons in the 97. That's where we are right now, Scott Sutherland. It has been an action-packed, fun-filled, and exciting evening and morning.
And yeah, it's been a tough morning, but I think we're going to get back to this thing. So come on back with us. We'll see how it ends up.
The Naturally Fresh Foods 250 presented by the NGA Hooters Pro Golf Tour continues here at Kil-Kare with a restart on lap number 148. We're back to green. Brian Ross is still your leader. If Jeff Agnew has the fastest car on the racetrack, he'll be coming. And then our Sunoco full field rundown shows you where everybody is. Curtis Davis up to 9th. John Gaunt in 11th position. Roger Blackstock, the last car on the lead lap. And Jimmy Burns, the first car not. And his Jackaroo Sauces, number 92. Alan Bigelow is in 21st position at 15 laps down. So a lot of attrition is taking its toll here at Kil-Kare. And Agnew's definitely knocking on the back door for the first time in this race. Brian Ross is getting a challenge. So we'll continue watching this. Meanwhile, Brett McMillan's got a little word for us on the 01 car.
Pete Warmkessel coming in. He's got a stop and go penalty. A little racy off the start. And indeed it was.
So the 01 of Pete Warmkessel, a little too anxious on the restart. They brought him in for a stop and go. We saw that earlier in the race as well. Watching Jimmy Burns trying to get a lap back. He's not going to have much luck doing that from where he is right now. There's the 01 car that just rejoined the race. So he's in between the leader and second place, Jeff Agnew.
Yeah, he's already been in trouble, so he wants to be very careful because they're going to watch him from the tower. If he holds Jeff Agnew up for very long, he's going to have himself in trouble again. He needs to let the leaders go. Don't make that matters worse. What we saw, though, when we were under our competition yellow, these cars were under for 5 whole minutes. That means you can make any change you would normally make on a pit stop. But you say to yourself, these guys are not in a big hurry. So here we back out. Most guys got 4 tires, full tank of fuel. We can make it all the way to the end.
Eric Corbett on the inside with the 88 of Gerald Davis. Battle for position in 6th place right now. Just behind them, trying to figure out which way he wants to go, is the 68 of Curtis Davis.
And Curtis Davis has a very good race car. Remember, he got turned around last night, and now this morning, he's made his way all the way up through the field.
Speaking of the 55 of Alan Bigelow, he is now parked 90 degrees to the direction of racing, and the 80 of Jeff Rourke is maneuvering around in there. So we're going to have another caution here. There's Bigelow looking for a sponsor on that number 55 car. He gets going again. Not sure exactly what happened. We were looking elsewhere, but our Coca-Cola replay will show it. Up against the wall, and then in the background, around goes Bigelow. Let's go to Brett McMillan.
John Gaunt, I saw some smoke pouring out of the exhaust system. What was it that put you out?
I guess earlier in the race I got into the 57. It blocked off the shroud, so we didn't have very good cooling. It blocked off the oil cooler, and I think we cooked it that way. I'd like to say thanks to all the crew, sponsors, Centennial Plymouth Chrysler, Pepsi, Haviland, Sickens, EKN, Vital Signs, all these people, Blue Jay Catering, get us here every week, long haul. Sorry to see it happen. It's great, great racetrack here, good fans. Sorry we're out of the race.
While we're talking to John, I go back to racing.
And those are the kind of things that happen on the short tracks. You get the front end knocked in. It's so hard to get air in the beginning because you're not going that fast. You're going 75, 80 miles an hour. And you need every bit of air to get in that radiator that you possibly can.
Now Jeff Agnew has cleared the 01 of Wormcastle, that Wilbur Racing Ford. So he is right up against the back bumper of Brian Ross. And things are starting to get pretty interesting here. Oh, we got another car smoking in the background.
They're going to stay green.
Yep. As the 31 car heads down pit road all by itself. Don Fleming, he's the Xenia, Ohio local favorite, is going to be, it looks like, out of the race. Meanwhile, up front, Agnew all over Ross. Hal Goodson with the best seat in the house right behind him, and you're riding on board. What about where the rearview mirror would be on Agnew's car?
Well, right now he really doesn't need a mirror because everything he needs is right in front of him. And this car has been really exceptional since we started the race this morning.
5 wins for Agnew, as well as a championship and Rookie of the Year. 27 Shoemaker up against the wall again, and Kyle Shoemaker is really having a tough evening here in that K2 machinery car. Very uncharacteristic tough night for him. Another look at the Coca-Cola replay. Way up in the distance, all by himself. Around he goes, and made it a little bit narrower on the left side there, the driver's side. Not a hard hit, but enough to bring out a caution. So we'll be back to Kil-Kare once again in a moment.
Welcome back. We're at Kil-Kare Speedway in Xenia, Ohio. And you're watching Hooters USAR Pro Cup Racing.
Thank you once again, girls. Indeed, we're watching USAR Hooters Pro Cup caution flag laps right now at the Naturally Fresh Foods 250 at Kil-Kare.
Amazingly enough, there's a lot of cars left on the lead lap, and that's probably primarily due because of our caution flags, because Brian Ross has set a tremendous pace once they are under green. However, I still think Jeff Agnew has a very good race car because he's stayed right with him, and it looks like he can work traffic just a little bit better.
He's been steadily improving, making gains on Ross. Ross was dominant in the early laps of this race, but now Jeff Agnew definitely seems to be coming around, and I think Brett McMillan would agree with that. In fact, we're going to go down and see just exactly what he has to say about the 73.
Jeff Agnew is the 1998 champ of this series and is in 3rd place in points right now. And a lot of guys seem to think that you just got to take it easy during the course of the year, be consistent, but make sure you're in the top 30 for the end of the year championship series. Agnew says, I thought last year that that was the way to go, to just got to be consistent, get into the championship series, then run hard. He says, what I learned is that the points you get during the course of the season, especially for being the division leader, they make a huge difference when it comes to your championship standing at the end of the championship series. So this year, he's raced as hard as he possibly can every single week.
And that's a very good point, because where you end up at the end of the regular season going into the championship series, how are you going to stack up and those points go towards the final at the end of the year? And hey, that's when all the money gets paid.
Well, there's not a lot of difference between 2nd and 3rd and between 3rd and 4th, but there's a big difference between finishing 1st in your division and 2nd. There's a 25-point bonus, and that's a nice little cushion to help towards the championship run in the last 5 races of the season.
And when you're racing for $250,000 at the end of this thing, I'll take that 25 points.
Yeah, and for Jeff Agnew, pretty much the only not-so-good finish he had was 25th at Lonesome Pine. Other than that, he's been in or near the top 5. Only one finish out of the top 5 besides that one, and that was 6th at Holland. So, yeah, Jeff Agnew has been consistent. What he hasn't done yet is win a race, but he's in a position to do that here tonight.
And Hal Goodson, we can't count him out. I mean, he's won the last 2 races, and his car is very good, still hanging in there. And Jay Folkman has an excellent car as well.
Daryl Davis and Curtis Davis running 8th and 9th on our Naturally Fresh Field summary. And for the first time, Jeff Agnew is really challenging Brian Ross. Yes, he got to the back bumper. Yes, he's been in the rear view mirror, but now he's down on the inside. And I think that was turn 11, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And they come around the backstretch. He gets a really good run. His car is very solid, and I think Brian Ross' car is a little bit loose when they come around that long backstretch area.
There's Jeff Agnew.
He looks very comfortable at this point.
Very comfortable. Just one-handed that wheel around, and yes, indeed, Brian Ross's car is just a little bit looser than it was. He's just a little over-rotating in the turns there, and Agnew is definitely challenging Brian Ross for the lead right now. Our next 5 races begin with a brand new, at least for USAR Hooters Pro Cup racetrack, and that's Fairground Speedway in Nashville. The next stop up north will be near Jeff Agnew's home area, New River Valley. Back down south to Hickory, up north, South Boston and Ileana. We've got a full schedule of races going all the way to the championship run at the end of the season. We want you to be there for each and every one of them when you possibly can. Otherwise, join us here on Speed.
And Hal Goodson's just kind of lurking in the shadows, waiting for a little bit of a mistake here. Maybe a little bit of contact. He's right in the middle of it. Maybe sitting right where he wants to be after winning 2 in a row.
Well, Goodson is definitely making some forward progress on the first 3 cars. They're all very close together.
And I'm not so sure that Brian Ross isn't holding up Jeff Agnew just a little bit. If Jeff Agnew could clear him, he might drive away from this field.
Saw a little tiny bit of contact there as Agnew made sure Ross knows he's there. Hal Goodson is definitely lurking, and any little miscue by the two cars in front of him and Goodson will be in a position to take that third consecutive victory here. Jeff Agnew looking very relaxed behind the wheel.
And what's intriguing about that is if you listen to the engine noise, he hardly even get all the way to the floor. It just kind of maintains a constant tone, and he goes around the racetrack.
Anytime you want to check out what's going on with Hooters Pro Cup Racing, go to USARProCup.com. That's the website for all the information about Hooters North Division, South Division, and championship racing coming up. There's the 88 car saying hello to Curtis Davis in the 68. Gerald Davis, Curtis Davis, the battle of the Davises going on out there.
And I think the 68 cars had a harder run, but well, how about this? Brian Ross was on easy street until the 73 car has made his life miserable.
And he tried to poke a nose down inside, saw the lap car of Kyle Shoemaker and the 55 of Alan Bigelow, and had to go back up in line again. So he's looking for a clear piece of racetrack to make a move down low, and we got another spinner on the racetrack, and that's the 01 of Pete Wormcastle again. And it's going to bring out another caution here. Also involved, you can't see him, but Charlie Ford in the number 14 car, and he's a little bit peeved at Pete. Around they go.
Oh, and Charlie really got into the wall up there.
Wormcastle stayed on the racetrack and spun around without any additional contact. But Charlie Ford up into the wall was already victimized earlier in the race, and he is definitely upset. So Brian Ross is still your leader. The caution's going to slow them all down, and Charlie Ford's out of the car. That's what he thinks. The Naturally Fresh Foods 250, presented by NGA Hooters Golf Tour, continues, and we're getting close to the money laps here. As we go back to the green on lap number 189, our Naturally Fresh Field summary. Well, you know all about Brian Ross, Jeff Agnew, and Hal Goodson. We've seen a lot of them. Jay Fogelman running pretty quietly and competently in fourth position. The battle of the Davises in 8th and 9th, and you're on board once again with Agnew. Lap cars down inside, Goodson right behind him. Things are getting busy.
We saw just a little glimpse there of Jimmy Burns' 92 car. Kind of got in the inside of Jeff Agnew's car. That's a little bit of contact.
Ross with some breathing room now as Burns is kind of holding up Agnew. And once again, the leader has a much bigger advantage in jumping away from those lap cars down on the inside line on these restarts. So Agnew has to clear the lap car and the very fast lap car, I might add, of number 92 Jimmy Burns, who lost a lap in the pits earlier in the race. On board with Jay Fogelman. Looking at the back of Hal Goodson's number 50 car. And Lynch Motorsports Dodge. And up in the distance, Brian Ross going through turn 9.
And you can just hear the engine. It just kind of trims on one even keel all the way around the racetrack. What a unique place to drive.
Just about 3/4 throttle steady all the way around, and hope that the handling is just right. Just keep the wheel cranked a few degrees to the left, and you'll make it around Kil-Kare. Only if it was that simple.
Well, the thing is, what we're talking about as being crew chiefs is a balanced race car. You want something that's not too tight where it pushes the right front, but it definitely can't be loose because the right rear will come out from underneath you, like we've seen so many cars over there, turn 14, 15, whatever you want to call it. And you have to have a well-balanced race car to take care of your tires.
Hal Goodson down inside. Jimmy Burns taking Jay Fogelman with him. There's Derek Kelly in the number 21 car, and Joel Kaufman, who started 12th and is up to 5th. He's had a very steady run here tonight as well.
And that's Eric Corbett, our points leader. We haven't had an opportunity to talk about Eric very much. He's kind of been muddled in the middle of this thing, but I think he has a very good race car. His track position is a killer.
He has been a model of consistency all season long. His worst finish 20th at Winchester. Other than that, top 5s all the way down the line. Eric Corbett, that's why he's the points leader. Came into the season, finished third, finished second at Jennerstown, was third in points, and has been moving steadily upwards to be our points leader at this time. The number 75, Eric Corbett, in that clean and shine Ford Taurus. 44 to 21, little battle for position going on there between Derek Kelly and Joel Kaufman. A lot of damaged race cars out there. The Roger Blackstock's damaged green and white machine. And the 42 of Brian Ross got a little bit of breathing room. Let's take a look at our Sunoco full field rundown here, 50 laps from the finish. Galt in the number 32 car rounding out the top 10. That's Glenn Galt. There's Blackstock. Last car on the lead lap Burns down a lap, the rest down even more. Shoemaker's had a tough night here. He's 6 laps down, but still running in 16th position. And then a lot of the cars that are out of the race include the 5 of Robbie Thompson, 71 of Ray Peel. Mechanical problems for him, and the rest, as you see. Peck and Avanti in the first 2 cars out of the race. Avanti after only 11 laps. 32 car, Blaine Galt. You see his best finish, 8th place in Holland Speedway. Behind him, the 88 of Gerald Davis. Still a beautiful looking racetrack here, and pretty much these cars can drive wherever they need to. Our next TV date, and you should make a date with us here on Speed, July 17th for coverage from Fairgrounds Speedway in Nashville. If you've never seen that racetrack, you certainly want to see it here on Speed.
And Brian Ross has opened up a little bit of a gap here over Jeff Agnew, but I'm wondering, is Jeff Agnew in a pace where he's just really going to take care of his race car and his tires? The whole field is just kind of settled in right here, as you will. If we could, oh, Brian got a little bit looser. If we could just settle down and make some laps. We're sick and tired of cautions. Let's get this race under a belt and go on home.
Get your stopwatch out again and check on the lap times between leader Brian Ross and Jeff Agnew, because Agnew has once again cleared traffic and he's on his way toward the leader. There he is. And there's Hal Goodson going for 3 in a row. He's running 3rd right now, still in position. Jay Fogelman in the 4 car is 4th. That'll be easy to keep track of for a while. There's the battle for 5th as Kaufman goes inside the lap car of Jimmy Burns. Hal Goodson in 3rd.
And all you folks at home, if you joined us late, we've already made our mandatory stop, if you will. We've come in and got 4 tires. We loaded up with fuel. So whatever they have right now pretty much is what they've got. You know, we watch these guys that come in and try and make a pit stop. You're going to go down a lap if you try to put your old tires back on, or you cannot make an extended stay there under a caution.
And track position so important that even though there are only, what, now 11 cars, I believe, on the lead lap, I think that was what I saw there a moment ago. You know, you don't want to go to the back of the field with only 40-plus laps to go in this race. You don't want to put on tires and give up track position right now. You pretty well better run what you have to the end.
You really have to. You cannot afford to give up. Curtis Davis will show you. He had an exceptional run last night. He was up there knocking on top 5 all night. He had to make his way through the field time and time again here today, and it's really been tough. You burn your tires up by the time you even get back into contention.
Glenn Galt running in 9th place, we mentioned, in the 32 car. Here comes Roger Blackstock. Yes, he is the last car on the lead lap in that number 1 Falkenberg Honey Dodge. A little bit of front end damage there from an earlier incident.
And Roger Blackstock last year was one of the faster race cars here because this is kind of his home track. And he can run this racetrack like it's supposed to be driven. He got in an altercation early and kind of messed his race car up.
On board with Jeff Agnew. Is he heading for the lead in this race? Stay with us and find out. Looks like it, though. Well, things are definitely heating up here at Kil-Kare Speedway, not only for the lead, but for position. 4th and 5th place right now. The 44 car of Joel Kaufman, the 21 of Derek Kelly, tussling over a spot in the top 5.
What a long week. We've said this again, but what a long... He'll never forget this 4th of July weekend, I'll guarantee you.
I don't think so either. Derek Kelly stalking the 44 of Kaufman. They go around the outside of the number 80 car of Jeff Rourke. We saw him involved somewhat in an incident a while ago in that quarter paint Pontiac. The Pontiac in the field here tonight. There's your Nationally Fresh Field summary showing you 4th and 5th. We're watching them race. Our points leader Corbett in 7th position. There's your leader Brian Ross and Brett McMillan talking to the crew chiefs. First of Jeff Agnew.
Doug Wheeler, the laps are lining down. You going to have anything for that 42 car?
I don't know. You know, Brian's awful tough, but the NGA Chevrolet's pretty good. Just trying to get through some of this lap traffic. I think we're equal to him. I don't know that we're any better, but if we can get him hemmed up behind some of these lap cars, we might slide by him. You know, I'd like to thank Billy Hess, Don Kowalski, everybody on this NGA race team. We're having a good run. We'll take what we get.
Getting through traffic just means one thing, Scott Sutherland, and that's more traffic.
But the thing is, he's been a little bit loose. And I'll tell you what I see every once in a while going down the backstretch. I see a haze of blue coming off his right rear tire. That means his car's getting exceptionally loose.
Well, Jeff Agnew once again pulling up behind Brian Ross. There is some lap traffic in front of him. And it's just a matter of getting those lap cars to set the pick in the right spot for you to get by.
Well, I don't even know if he's going to need that. I think Brian's car is really starting to go south on him. The right rear looks like to me it's hazing up on him. And what that means is he's got to turn his steering wheel to the right more than he does to the left.
There's the one car of Blackstock just in front of them. Hal Goodson, boy, is he ever just stalking both leaders. I mean, he's right there. Has not been able to really put a move on either one of them. Agnew's getting most of the work done, but Goodson is poised to strike too.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, Brian Ross, losing up into the wall. That's going to do it, and easily for both Agnew and Goodson. Now even Jay Fogelman's going to get up alongside and try to get by. Brian Ross, though, is a fighter, and he's going to fight back for that third position.
His car just was so loose, and he got up into that gray stuff, got up into trash up there. Once he caught that, it was over. He was hanging on.
Got up into that stuff. You can see it up against the wall there, all the pieces, bits of rubber up there. And now your naturally fresh field summary is going to look a lot different as Agnew has taken over the lead. Goodson second. And Brian Ross is fighting for third. Let's go to Brett McMillan again.
Darren, did he say what happened?
Oh, no, I just think he drove in a little too hard. Car isn't as good as it was early in the race. Agnew's car's a little better than it was, so that's racing, and Brian's doing a good job. He saved it out there, so if we can get out over third, I guess that's what we'll take.
Man.
That was a near miss because that car was headed straight into the wall, and how he got that thing turned the second time, I have no idea. Great reflex.
That was a terrific job of turning what could have been a very bad incident into just a minor annoyance. In any case, Jeff Agnew is now the leader, and we'll see now that he has clear track in front of him how good Hal Goodson is.
Yeah, we can find out if he can drive away or not, and I'm just surprised he's just holding on, trying to stay in this thing.
Our next race date is going to be at Fairgrounds Speedway, Friday, July 12th at 7 p.m. You need to be there with your fanny in the bleachers to enjoy what is a brand new track for the Hooters Pro Cup Tour.
And what a wonderful racetrack Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway is. We've been there a million times in other types of race cars. Love the place.
It is a beautiful facility, and it is, of course, right there in the home of country music. A lot to do in Nashville. And go see the race in the evening. Make a day of it. On board with Jeff Agnew, your race leader, and Hal Goodson. We're finding out how good is Hal Goodson. He's pretty doggone good right now.
Yeah,
he's on the bumper of Agnew.
I think that third win is looking real good about this time.
Win number 3 it would be for Hal Goodson if he can get around Agnew here in the closing 20-plus laps of this race. It looks like it's going to go to the wire. Brian Ross has got hands full with Jay Fogelman for third spot behind them. There they are. Move over flag waving for some of that lap traffic that always comes into play in these short bull ring type tracks. Fogelman looking for an opening like Jeff Agnew got on Ross when he got loose up there in the marbles. Agnew's on a rail, so is Goodson. These two guys are dead equal.
Yeah, and I think Jeff Agnew's car is very good at this point. He just kind of lumbers around the racetrack, and he's kind of maintaining those same marks, and he looks very smooth at this point.
Coming up on 32 of Glenn Galt on the lead lap and looking like going a lap down. It'll be close. Galt will be able to hold off the leaders.
I know we're looking in his rearview mirror for him. He doesn't want to look back and see that Hal Goodson's right behind him, but that car, he's hit every mark perfectly. I've been watching him. His car is so consistent every lap.
There's the 32 of Galt. Agnew's right behind him. You can see our naturally fresh field summary. Galt trying to hold off the leaders. Blackstock, the last car on the lead lap, or went a lap down just a moment ago. There is Agnew in heavy traffic. Damaged race cars all around him, including the 27 of Kyle Shoemaker, involved in several incidents, but to his credit, has been improving all season. Earlier in the year, his finishes were in the 30s. He moved up into the 20s, and most recently 14th at Salem Speedway.
Jeff Agnew's car goes through traffic so much better than everybody else around out here, and that's why his car looks so good to me. Wherever he points it, he can make his car go, and that's kind of the advantage he's had ever since we started back this morning.
Jay Fogelman has cleared Brian Ross and into third position. Ross is now with his hands full in the 44 car of Kaufman is the next to challenge him. So now there is Jay Fogelman in third position, just ahead of him, the 32 of John Gaunt has gone down a lap, and the 44 of Kaufman has spun, bringing out another caution here, 8 laps from the finish. He was involved in that right around the Brian Ross area. Kaufman was challenging Ross for 4th position, and around he goes. So Joel Kaufman's very good run is going to be cut somewhat short here this evening.
And what makes it even worse, he's going to go a lap down, which he should still be on the lead lap, fight for position. He's going to go a lap down, which really puts him in a different situation now. But that young rookie had a tremendous race going.
And Jeff Agnew is now in a position with what looks like it might be a green-white checker finish here, depending on how quickly they get this cleaned up and ready to go back racing again. Agnew would only have a couple of laps to try to hold off Hal Goodson. Goodson looking for his 3rd win in a row. Jeff Agnew his 1st win of the season. So there is the man trying to win it.
In the Hooters Pro Cup, if you can win 2 races in a row and still be in contention for the 3rd, that's a great job.
Indeed it is. We'll see how. The Naturally Fresh Foods 250 presented by NGA Hooters Pro Golf Tour continues after an even 100 laps of caution. We got 2 laps to go to the checkered flag.
And all you folks wonder, where is all the inside guys? Where's all the guys that are lapped down? They have to go to the back of the field when we're inside 10 laps, so they are out of the system, and that's just Jeff Agnew and all the rest of his leaders.
Single file restart. Hal Goodson trying to take Jeff Agnew for his 3rd consecutive win. Agnew trying to hang on for his 1st win of the 2003 season. Possibly taking over the points lead as well. What a great night that would be. And his crew is dancing on landmines up there. These guys are nervous until that checkered flag waves. Looking good so far. Here comes Goodson with a move. Does he have it? No. Jeff Agnew is going to be the winner of the Naturally Fresh Foods 250 and his presenting sponsorship. He has paid him off here tonight with a win at Kil-Kare.
And that is the 1st win for Chevrolet here in the North Division this year.
Good point.
Yep, great job with that team. They've been knocking on the door, and they finally got it to go through.
So Jeff Agnew makes short work of a 17-turn racetrack here. Kil-Kare, we've been joking about that, thanks to DW, who accused this place of having 17 corners. But Agnew's crew now is going to be heading towards Victory Lane, where their race car driver has just allowed them to be. Hal Goodson in 2nd position. Coming in 3rd was Jay Fogelman. We saw him make his move late in the race on the man who led the first 223 laps of this race, only to have it go south on him in the final 26 laps.
But he fought a loose race car pretty much the whole race. He just kept it up underneath him. That shows what kind of a race car driver he is and will be.
Well, Darren Odell is very fond of saying Brian Ross can drive anything with wheels on it, and he is pretty well correct about that. So Jeff Agnew just had a better car at the end of the race, and Darren Odell said that is the way it goes. His car got a little better, ours stayed about the same, and that was the end result. So in honor of Alan Kulwicki, the Polish victory lap by Jeff Agnew here at Kil-Kare Speedway. You know he'll be celebrating when he climbs out of that race car. 250 on the scoreboard above him as he goes around. That's how many laps we did finally complete here after an evening race turned into a morning one.
It has been a long, drawn-out event, hasn't it?
Certainly has. But for Jeff Agnew, it'll all be worth it when he gets back to Victory Lane in that number 73 car. Turned out to be a pretty exciting race in the closing laps. I think you'll agree. Now he turns it around the right way, and we'll hear from him in a moment.
USAR Hooters Pro Cup Racing has been brought to you by Hooters, the cure for the common restaurant. Naturally Fresh Salad Dressing. Look for it in your supermarket's produce section. Miller Lite. Miller Lite is the official sponsor of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series. Lucas Oil Products. Lucas Oil Products is a leader in heavy-duty and high-performance lubricant.
Jeff Agnew, congratulations. You put yourself in position to win, and my gosh, you never know what's going to happen, do you?
Yeah, I tell you what, when they gave 5 cents for this car yesterday in practice, and guys worked really hard, didn't give up, kept changing things right before the race, and really made it really good. Didn't know if we was going to catch Brian, but I don't know, he got a little loose getting into one. We got by him. I'd like to thank NGA, Hooters Pro Golf Tour, Naturally Fresh. Like I said, my guys, they've worked super hard this weekend, and we've kind of struggled this year, and paid off for us today.
Talk about that final restart. How confident were you you'd be able to hold off the competition?
Well, they were telling me that he was a little better in 3 and 4, and just as long as I held it down in 3 and 4, we could hold him off 2 or 3 laps. So that's what we done.
First win of the year.
That's right.
Jeff Agnew celebrating in victory lane, win number 1.
Well, congratulations to Jeff, and yeah, he held on, no question about it. Take a look at the final results. Agnew, Goodson, Fogelman, the top 3. Brian Ross slipping back to 4th. Derek Kelly makes a long
What a run by Derek Kelly.
Long haul
right.
from Florida, worth it. Roger Blackstock finishing right up there. We're starting, and Joel Kaufman, what a tough break for him. You know, he went from a top 5 to 12th place finish. Kyle Shoemaker, a tough night, still ended up in 16th position. Danny Sammons with Clay Rogers helping out, finished 23rd. And the rest of the names and numbers of the race cars that finished this one. Let's go back to Brett McMillan with the runner-up.
Well, I dumped this color. I mean, 2 wins and now a second. The blue's not working for you anymore.
No, I might have to change it back to silver. No, we had a good car. This Dodge Viper, whatever it is, ran good. We were real tight, and man, we changed spring rubbers, track bar, wedge, everything on that stop, and finally got it free enough where I could drive it through that dog leg thing back there, and just wasn't quite good enough. I was a little bit better than Jeff down there in 4, and that's where I thought I could get a run at him, but he was pretty good right on that restart, and kind of got up in the loose stuff up there a little bit, and you know, 2 days trying to finish, so I guess second ain't too bad.
I'd say the last 3 weeks have been pretty good for you with 2 wins and a second.
Oh yeah, I mean, we got this deal turned around. Performance counts. They got the motor program figured out now, and you know, running good. Hedgecock chassis, Jimmy King, my crew chief, Dave Lynch, car owner, all the guys on the crew, man. They best crew up and down pit road, and you know, maybe we'll get to this next victory.
How Goodson, a great run today.
Another good run for Gerald Davis, our Miller Lite rookie of the race. Started 19th, finished 9th, moved up 10 spots to earn the honor as the top finishing rookie. Back to Brett McMillan right now.
Jay Fogelman sitting there in 3rd place. Where did you come from? You were nowhere to be found most of the day.
Yeah, you know, we rode around 5th or 6th most of the day. These cars really run good at the end of a race. Got brand new asphalt here, and it probably wasn't as big of an advantage with our shock package and so on that we have on some of the slicker racetracks, but just kind of rode consistent all day, got us some points, finished 3rd for the Lucas Oil Ford. They do an awful lot for us. Just glad to get them some TV time. Billy Hess fixed this car from where we crashed it at Winchester. Automotive specialist, they got us a good motor in this thing, and we just keep trucking right along, you know, gaining these points. But we've got us 2 wins, want a couple more. Glad to see Jeff get him one. You know, he's a good guy. We have to race these same guys every week, enjoy it. But the lap traffic is a little tough today. We got through this deal car in one piece, so it was a good day overall.
You looked a lot better this morning than you were last night. I guess one of the guys that benefited from the rain delay.
Yeah, I think the rain delay and because of it, us having, you know, a mandatory caution with 5 minutes, like I said, we were tight all day, and it gave us time to put spring rubbers in the car and do some stuff that we wouldn't normally do on a live pit stop because we couldn't give up the track position. So that probably benefited us more than anything.
A lot of hard work pays off.
Jeff Agnew, our new points leader, in addition to picking up his first win of the season, takes over the point from Brian Ross. Eric Corbett, the former points leader, moves down into 3rd. Here's the rest of the top 10 and even 15. Jimmy Burns with a tough night here, 10th in points. And again, this stacks up such that they're seeded this way going into the playoff part of the season. Once again to Brett McMillan, this time with Brian Ross, who was the man of the race almost.
Well, this is the look of a car that didn't win. And I think we're looking at the reason why you didn't win. What happened out there after being so dominant?
This is the second set of tires. You know, they weren't near as good as the first set, and the car got real tight on us, and we just kept trying to get the right rear to grow, you know, using the right rear a little bit, and pretty soon we still had to push and had a loose end race car. So I guess I just have to take 4th and go to New River Valley and try and get them there.
What kind of positives did you take out of this one?
Oh, I mean, I think we'll come out of here with the points lead, you know, and we took this old race car and we led a bunch of laps today. You know, we're getting it figured out, and I think if the tires been right, we'd been one in victory lane today.
8-year-old race car comes home 4th for these guys.
Not quite the points lead for Brian Ross, but the hard charger award for Glenn Galt, who started 28th, and we saw him lose a lap in the closing couple of circuits here. Jeff Agnew taking the winner's trophy from Bobby Totten of the USAR, and the final little bit of celebration going on down there in Victory Lane. Certainly had a great time, even though it took a while, Scott Sutherland.
Absolutely.
There was the move that allowed Agnew the victory. Ross going up into the wall. From there, it was smooth sailing with only Hal Goodson for company. And Jeff Agnew picked up his first win of the 2003 season, which, of course, delighted his hard-working crew that he thanked in Victory Lane a little bit later on for making what he said was a car not worth a nickel into a winner. Our thanks to Racing Electronics, to Best Golf Cars, and to all the folks whose names you see at the bottom of the screen that help us bring you these broadcasts. And to speedtv.com, that's where you need to go on the World Wide Web for all the information about racing everywhere. My thanks to Scott Sutherland, to Brett McMillan, and to you for joining us. I'm Brian Drebber. See you next time.